racist laws are still on the books here in Virginia, decades after the civil rights movement and desegregation. Now, the governor appointed a commission to uncover those laws in the state's official registry, and they did in this report that they released at the end of 2019. Well, tonight I find out what our lawmakers are doing with the commission's suggestion to repeal what they found.
Hidden deep in Virginia's history, between 1900 and 1960, the laws that are printed in the Acts of Assembly paint a troubling past. Dozens of instances of overtly discriminatory language, including laws banning school integration and prohibiting black and white people from living in the same neighborhoods.
While they might not still have been actively effective and enforced, nevertheless, their enshrinement in the Acts of Assembly didn't speak well to what the current public policy is of Virginia.
Cynthia Hudson is the Deputy Attorney General and the chair for the Commission to Examine Racial Inequity in Virginia Law.
Once on the books, they stay on the books unless they are repealed.
Think of the Acts of Assembly as a book of laws that legislators pass on any given year. The only way to wipe the slate clean is to have our legislators repeal them. But not all of our lawmakers agree that this is the most important issue facing the General Assembly.
At this point, I think there's more important issues that need to be addressed.
We have to look at our history honestly. To go back and say that those are unacceptable, we need to get them out of our code of Virginia.
I haven't followed the committee or the findings. I'm sure we will hear about them. It doesn't surprise me that the governor is following this. The governor continues to look at ways to, make his profile better.
Delegate Kathy Byron is referring to this photo on Governor Ralph Northam's medical school yearbook page, with one person in blackface, another in a KKK robe. The governor denies that he's pictured, but 4 months after the controversy surfaced, he appointed the commission.
The governor's response about how surprised he was to find out how much they had found is a pretty good indication, I think, of how powerful an educational tool even this preliminary report, sketchy as it is, can be.
Virginia Tech history professor Dr. Peter Wallenstein calls it sketchy because the report only delves into the Acts of Assembly between 1900 and 1960, and he feels the commission missed crucial acts. For instance, the High School Act of 1906. It mandated that all cities and counties had to have one public high school.
Which meant that if there's only one high school, it's the one that the white kids will go to.
I took that concern to Deputy Attorney General Hudson.
We certainly haven't counted out the possibility of going back and picking up some very obvious omissions of that nature, although we haven't yet been presented with too many of them.
So what's next? This legislative session, there are bills going before the House and Senate that would repeal all of the Acts of Assembly the commission uncovered in their report. Hudson is hopeful that they will all pass this session.
Standing here, I cannot think of reasons why they would not be.
Changing the language once and for all from a darker period in our history.
Now, I just checked to see where the bills to repeal these racist Acts of Assembly are in the House and Senate right now. None of them have cleared both chambers yet, but you can follow the progress. Just look for this story at WSET.com and search racist laws. The commission uncovered language in the Acts of Assembly that mentioned 2 local schools. Their reaction when I showed them and what lawmakers are doing to fix it tonight on ABC 13 News at 11.
For hundreds of years, Virginia lawmakers passed laws to treat African Americans like second-class citizens. But now there's a movement at the state capitol to correct that.
As ABC 13's Danner Evans shows us, for some local schools, erasing that part of our past can't come fast enough. It is a story you will only see on ABC 13.
Dr. Meredith Wu is not only the president of Sweetbriar College, she's also a huge champion of its history.
Danner, I don't know whether you knew that this campus was built by one of the greatest American architects by the name of Ralph Adams Cram.
But not everything in our past is worth celebrating. That's what the State Commission to Examine Racial Inequity in Virginia Law found. Governor Ralph Northam appointed the commission after this page from his medical school yearbook surfaced a year ago. One person is in blackface, another in a KKK robe. Northam denies he's in the picture. The commission combed through Acts of Assembly from 1900 to 1960. Think of the acts as the state's official registry of laws from those years. The commission discovered several examples of racist laws still in the books, including one from Sweetbrier's past.
It's irritating because our policy has been so progressive ever since the early 60s.
A chapter in the 1901 Virginia Acts of Assembly describes the incorporation of Sweetbrier College for white women in the will of one of its founders, Indiana Williams. Sweetbrier officials went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court in 1967 to change the terms of Williams' will to accept African American women.
It was officially changed by 1967 in the books for the Commonwealth, but I guess some clerks or somebody neglected to enter it into the official registry.
The commission also found an Act of Assembly from 1903 concerning New London Academy in Bedford County. Chapter 212 authorizes New London Academy to be a school for advanced white students. However, Bedford County started desegregating elementary schools like New London Academy in 1965. Ryan Edwards with the school system says he's shocked the commission found this.
It certainly is not anything that Bedford County has adhered to for at least 50, 60 years or beyond to the 117 years ago that this was written.
Once on the books, they stay on the books unless they are repealed.
Deputy Attorney General Cynthia Hudson, who chairs the commission, says lawmakers now must repeal those old acts of assembly this session to permanently erase them.
I'm hoping that a corrective course of action is shortly coming.
It's about time.
I just checked to see where these bills are right now that would repeal the laws once and for all related to Sweetbrier and New London Academy. One has passed the House and is in a Senate committee. The other has passed the Senate but has not yet been taken up by the House. You can follow the progress. Just look for this story at WSET.com and search racist laws. Back to you.